Yo, what's good? What's good, beautiful people? It's your boy Emmanuel, aka Power Pappy. Welcome back again to this channel, okay? On this channel, we do a bunch of music commentary, like new topics, and I have my reaction channel where I do live reactions. I have a new weekly live stream that I do now for New Music Friday, so go check that one out. I come out and react to all the music that comes out, all the relevant music that comes out that you guys request, and we do live streams and end up making a playlist and ranking. It's a whole fun. Go check it out, and yeah, make sure you catch it on Friday nights, 5:30 EST and 11:30 Nigerian time. Anyway, today's topic is one that is already in everyone's music conversation right now. The biggest, most prestigious award for music in the world, the Grammys, just released their nominations, and it's been fun. It's great news for Afrobeats. Okay, great turnout regardless of all the controversies around it. Big congratulations to Wizkid, first off, okay, bagging 2 nominations. This one's a special because he has won the award before, but this is extra special because this is for entirely his own work. Big congrats as well to Kuti and Femi Kuti for Legacy Plus. Okay, when I reviewed that album, I didn't think it was like, yeah. Anyway, I think Made having a huge recognition on his debut album just goes to show how much of a force he's about to be, and it's just wholesome to see him and his father sharing an album, sharing the platform. And Femi Kuti also got nominated for Best Global Music Performance for Pak Pak Pa, one of my favorite records off of that album. Angelique Kidjo as well, okay, Claire Road from My Africa, because she came out and she showed out, 3 nominations, okay, 2 in the performance award and 1 in the album category. She had, and the one with the album category, in the performance category, was a song with Burna Boy as well that has Rexy on the beats. Like, that's mad. So big shout out to them and big congratulations to them. When it comes to other categories beyond Afrobeats per se, shout out to Black Coffee, okay? Black Coffee, the DJ and producer, was also nominated in dance category, but it wasn't even Amapiano really, but it was much more of a Western dance album. I got to listen to the album. It wasn't really screaming Africa, but I understand, and I definitely understand why that category was there. Now, as we all notice with Grammys and with any award shows around music, it's a friendly reminder of how subjective music really is. Okay, it points out the subjectivity of music. You can never please everybody when it comes to these award shows. There's always some form of pushback. There's always some form of commentary you can make and say that, oh, they didn't get it well, they didn't really capture the music culture. Now, the biggest controversy lands with a lot of the Afrobeat conversations, because and it was all circled around Wizkid. Okay, all circled around Wizkid. And I remember as Wizkid was getting and breaking grounds within the US market, everyone was noticing and witnessing that this is unprecedented. No one has ever done this before. No one has ever sold a platinum record in the US, okay? That's 1 million copies sold. And no one has ever made it to the top 10 on the billboards. No one has ever stayed there for so long too. So the level of penetration that Wizkid made into that market, that came out weird, bro. But yeah, you guys get what I mean. The level of penetration he made into that market was unprecedented. We had never seen before, and got a lot of people talking. And noticing, when these Grammys come around, they better recognize, because this is different. This time around is different. Twice the Star came around and did its thing and broke a glass ceiling. Everyone was noticing that with the level of impact that Made in Lagos made, all power to Burna with Twice the Star, but Twice the Star couldn't smell the level of impacts that Made in Lagos and Essence itself made in the US market. So we were expecting a little bit of a further penetration within that market. And for me, where I kind of saw it lying was in the R&B space. I saw it lying in the R&B space. But regardless, I still saw a lot of commentary around it that, and people were making substantial arguments too, that this album, this moment that Wizkid is having, can even push the Afrobeat conversation to the general categories like the album of the year, the record of the year, the song of the year conversations. And one of the most revered music commentators in Nigeria, shout out Mutolani Alake from Pulse, and he also hosts a podcast as well, one of my favorite podcasts, and he basically had a tweet. This was around August when, as Essence was climbing the Billboard and breaking grounds and selling millions, and breaking grounds. He tweeted Wizkid's Essence climbed to number 13. He ended up going to number 9 on 100. If it cracks the top 10, which it did, I'll be very surprised if it doesn't get a Big 4 nod at the 2022 Grammys. Problem Kanye will dominate, blah, 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 yeah. And then he goes on to say, probable Big 4 nods, in my opinion, will be Album of the Year, Made in Lagos, Record of the Year for Essence, and Song of the Year is possible as well. And these were substantial points to be made. Like, this wasn't outlandish, even though at the time I saw this and I was like, this is still very ambitious, but I can understand that this is the best time you can make this kind of argument for Nigerian music to get into those levels, just to point out the fact that Wizkid had broken an unprecedented amount of impact in that market. And I remember quoting this and responding. Where's my quote? I remember quoting this and saying, "Would love to be proven wrong, but besides the world and slash basically global music and R&B slash urban categories, I don't see any other nods happening in the generals." Now, I didn't necessarily believe it was going to happen in the generals. I still thought it was far-fetched, okay? I still thought it was far-fetched to think it was going to get into those spaces. But there was still some argument you could have made that, okay, this is the best time we can make the argument that we can get into those levels. And then it hit us when we got the nominations. And one thing, well, it's one of two things. It's either Wizkid himself or Wizkid's team didn't actually submit to the R&B categories, or he applied or submitted to the British to the Recording Academy, and it was only considered in other categories except the R&B. So it's possibly two things. It's possibly the Academy's fault in terms of not placing or not allocating Made in Lagos and Essence in the R&B categories, or maybe Wizkid didn't just submit. Okay. Now, when it came to R&B and soul considerations, I thought it was easy for Made in Lagos to be part of that conversation, because we even noticed like an American award that is dedicated to R&B and soul. This was the Soul Train Awards. The Soul Train Awards itself was the biggest indicator that was like, yeah, this song is a player in the R&B conversations easily. I remember a chart that was put out that I think Essence was number 1 on the urban R&B radio charts for like 9 weeks or so. It was number 1, so it was making a lot of airwaves. It was still selling. It was on radio. It was still streaming as well, making all those grounds. And the Soul Train Awards, again, an award dedicated to that genre within America, recognized Essence and Made in Lagos to the point of getting Wizkid 5 nominations there. Okay, this was the Soul Train Awards. In the Album of the Year, we see Wizkid, Made in Lagos there in that conversation. In the Ashford and Simpson Songwriters Award, again, Wizkid and Tems showing face in these conversations next to big names like Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, Jasmine Sullivan. You know what I mean? These are heavy hitters. Look at her here. These are heavy hitters in the R&B space, and Wizkid was in the conversation. We go on to Best Collaboration. Wizkid and Tems, Big Tems, showing up here for Best Collaboration. So clearly, we're getting indication that this is in the talks for R&B. This is an award dedicated to that genre. So we're seeing Wizkid all over this particular awards, and you're seeing in the Song of the Year conversation for the Soul Train Awards. You see it right there. Wizkid Essence Video of the Year as well. Same thing. So all arrows are pointing right now that, like, okay, if there's any ground that is being broken beyond the Global Music Award that Burna had already conquered, we had to see it in the R&B space. It was completely rational to see that immediately. Like that was what was pointing to in my head. Like, it's so rational to see that if he's not getting to the generals, at the very least, an R&B consideration. Now let's look at the best R&B performance nominees. We have Snow Allegra with Lost You. We have Peaches with Justin Bieber. We had Damage by Her. We had Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic, and Pick Up Your Feelings by Jasmine Sullivan. All great records, man. All good songs that made their grounds, and it's all cool and dandy. But this was a easy category for Wiz. Easy. This right here, best R&B performance, easy category for Wiz. I don't know how it wasn't here. I don't know if his team fumbled the bag, because if we look at Wizkid's considerations, Wizkid and his considerations for the Grammy this year, he took a long shot. He took a long shot with Album of the Year, of course with Global Musical Album, which he ended up getting nominated for. He took a long shot with Record of the Year. He took a long shot with Song of the Year. He took a good shot with Global Music Performance. He took a long shot with Music Video. But how are we not even this one, Seth, is funny to me. Long Time featuring Skepta, melodic rap performance, really? Rap Song of the Year, really? Do you think you were going to make any ground with Long Time? Of all songs on that album, Long Time? Bro. Anyway, this seemed like a bad call. Now, it could be two things here, and I'm not sure if I'm putting this all on Wizkid's team and their choices of categories. It's very possible that it's submitted to the R&B categories, but yeah, they didn't make any attempt, or at least the considerations didn't come back to be for R&B conversation. But once you look at Wizkid Essence on the RIA website, okay, well, this is Essence. This was this year. This is what we're talking about. 1 million, okay? 1 million records here. Now, granted, other songs here are double platinums, okay? Like other songs that were considered on this R&B performance, like this was double platinum. Peaches was double platinum. I remember Peaches was double platinum by JB. Double platinum record right here, 2 times, okay? 2 million, okay? Certified. Another song was Leave the Door Open. I think this was another double platinum. What other song again? Like these were good records that could have a good claim for this category, and I definitely believe those records had a good claim. Even Damage as well. I don't recall how many record units this one sold. Damage by Her. Hope it comes out. Damage. Yeah, how many did it sell? So 1 million. Okay, just the same as Essence did. So, I mean, Essence is in it's in the ballpark. Okay, Essence is still in the category, still in the conversation. It holds as much weight as these many records that we've seen in this category. So it's still crazy to me that it was missed in this category, and I thought that was the best opportunity to see Afrobeats kind of slipping through the back door. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, it's very good, and I loved the perspective that shout out to Nene. Nene was on Twitter Space, and he gave a solid point of, okay, like, let's be humbled by this moment. It's still great that Afrobeats is in the conversation with the global music categories, it's still great and dandy that it's happening year in year out. We saw Burna do it with AG, then coming around with Twice as Tall, and now Made in Lagos is in the conversation. So year in year out, Afrobeat is in the conversation. The momentum is still there. The fire is still burning, and we should, you know what I mean, we should keep it moving. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. Like it's still a good result. Okay, I just expected, or at least wanted, a little bit more out of it because Made in Lagos happened, and the impact in that market happened that I felt it was in the same level field as many of the Western counterparts that operate in the American market that are not necessarily Americans. Now, many people will say it's entitlement. Why will we ask headies to give us? Will we ask will Americans ask us to come to the headies? There've been a lot of arguments around that, but I still think all those arguments made sense and were so justified when a Made in Lagos didn't exist. Those arguments are solid when a Made in Lagos didn't exist. The impact that Made in Lagos made, I've showed you through the units, the charts that he made, very unprecedented. It had every claim to be in the conversation as every other Western. Again, when people say the Grammys is an American award, it might make it seem as if the Grammys is working by nationality, right? You might think, oh, the Grammys is saying, oh, you must have is it a blue passport? Like American passports, is it blue or green? I don't care. But anyway, you might one would think it's about nationality, but time and time again, the market or the Grammys has pointed that it's not about nationality. It's about who is having the biggest play within the American market. That's what's always been about. Adele, okay? She's there with her British passport. Ed Sheeran, he's there with his British passport. Ella May, when she had Build Up that year, ended up even winning the R&B conversations. Not an American. K-pop, okay? BTS, they're making grounds. They're nominated in the pop category, okay? Not an American nationality. It's not about nationality. It's not. It's about who is having a play in our market. That's what it is. That's what the Grammys is about. That's what it's meant to document. And every time you could have easily said, oh, you guys are begging for an American award when you're Nigerian, or it's like, wherever we made that impact. That was all cool when we didn't have that impact, when we didn't have a top 10 on the Billboard charts, when we didn't have a platinum selling record. All those arguments made sense. But the tides had changed after Made in Lagos, after Essence. There was something to reflect that, okay? You see how much the Soul Train paid attention to it. You see how much, like, I'm sure Wizkid is going to bag even more awards within the American space. But I'm saying it as if, just to show, there was substantial arguments to be made. Now, this realization that Wizkid didn't get nominated or didn't smell the category outside of the Global Music Award goes back to the genesis of that category, the Global Music Award. The former name was World Music Award, and there was even a reason why they changed the name. The award was made to show, basically, it's an American award, yes, based on the music market of America. So they needed a category to kind of distinct, the others, okay? The others, the people that are not necessarily in our markets, but it had a different connotation to it. It had a third world, developing world image to it. And that's why even Grammys notified, like, they recognize that, and they've been going through this cleansing and detoxing of decolonizing the Grammys. They're getting more people of different diversities, different ethnicities into the conversation. So they're building up the diversity quota. A lot of things are changing within the Grammys, the Academy itself. So they are making ground, and one of the little grounds that they were making, I won't say little, it was a big change. But clearly after this Wizkid debacle, I think it wasn't quite that big of a change, because that category was meant to be shifted from, this is a third world category, into, this is a global music category, to show that we're not limiting you guys to only traditional sounds. We're not limiting the rest of the world to traditional sounds. We're also recognizing the contemporary sounds, the more current, the more like recent sounds coming from this part of the world. And that's why before Burna Boy, before AG, before African Giant, you could never see a contemporary, a D'banj, a Two Face, a P Square could never smell that category. It was left to the traditional sounding artists, like King Sunny Ade, like Femi Kuti with Afrobeats, and Seun Kuti as well. And even different parts of the world, you only hear the indigenous sounding parts of those markets. Like even India, you only hear the traditional sounding, but India has hip hop acts. India has pop acts. They never recognize those guys. They never recognized the contemporary sounding music coming out of different parts of the world. So he had this, oh, let me give you this image of a third world kind of image, you know what I mean? And they showed that image from their selections and how they limited their selections. Now with AG and Burna Boy, we're coming into that space and kind of opening the catalog or the category to more contemporary sounds. There was change, okay? There was definitely change, and I give Grammys all credit for that. And the fact that Made in Lagos was easily, we all predicted it. It was so easy to see it being nominated for Global Music Award and the Global Music Performance, which was also a new category that they added. We could easily see Made in Lagos in those categories because Twice as Tall has broken that glass ceiling. AG, African Giants, already broke that glass ceiling. Twice as Tall just won it, okay? And winning it was another black glass ceiling because even Femi Kuti, King Sunny Ade, nobody had won it even after those nominations that they were getting. But Burna Boy won it, okay? And he made it it's so much easier for Made in Lagos to seep in. That's why that was virtually even guaranteed, to be honest. But it reminded me, the fact that they didn't see Made in Lagos outside of that category reminded me of, oh, this is a West versus the third world kind of connotation to it. It's simple. They want to limit an African act to that category, even when the African act is making the same level of ground that every other act is making from different parts of the world, from the Western part of the world. The European market is getting there. But once an African act does those same amount of impact, the same amount of grant, they still limit him to the global music categories. And that was my biggest issue out of this. It just made it, I won't say it's an issue, but it just made it seem, okay, this is what Grammys is about then. This is what Grammys is. And there's still work to be done, basically. There's still work to be done. There's still this decolonizing process that they're going through. There's still more ground to be broken. There's still more work to be done within that category for it to actually reflect what was doing well in the US market, regardless of where the person is from. And that was what it pointed out to me. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, the Grammys are racist or anything, or they're imperialist. It's just embedded in the system. This is an award that has been running since the 50s. This is an award that's running from the 50s. So I won't blame them that the structure and the system of it is going to take years to unlearn, to move forward and open its doors and be just, especially to music coming out of different parts of the world that it's not even about the fact that it's coming from different parts of the world, but it's making significant impact in your market, but yet you limit it to the others category that you put it in. And that was my biggest like issue with it. It wasn't a sense of entitlement to say, oh, like, this is an American award. Afrobeat is supposed to have its own category. I'm not even asking for Afrobeat to have its own category. I think that's far-fetched. That's so far-fetched. I'm not asking for Wizkid to be in the Album of the Year conversation or Song of the Year conversation. I thought those were long shots. But to see the music operate beyond Global Music Album was what I was kind of hoping that the significant grounds that Wizkid and Essence made would actually bring us out of that category. That was my only thing I was kind of going through, and going into these nominations, I was expecting it to see Afrobeats operate on a different stage. That was my biggest aim, and unfortunately it didn't happen. It's just a reminder to show how imperialist or how strong that system has, how strong of a hold it has on the Grammy system and their voting process. You know what I mean? Like, it's just showing how strong it is, and it's just showing how much work and how much advocacy needs to be done within the academy. And I'm not saying this to bash everybody at the academy. I know they have Nigerians, our very own Nigerians in that conversation. So I'm not. So it's way beyond. Bankole is there. It's way beyond him. It's way beyond those people. It takes an entire system to recognize that there's grounds to be made, and you can see Afrobeats act in places, that conversations that they can be, that they've shown you, and they are operating at the same level as other acts, and it just give them the justified recognition that somewhat deserved. Okay, but yeah, that was my whole spiel about the Grammys this year and how Wizkid maybe fumbled the bag with R&B, but nonetheless, I hope with these few points of mine, you guys kind of get what I'm trying to convey out of it. Let me know what you guys think about it. Now for my predictions for global music performance. I haven't done my research on these other albums or these other names, but I shall know. Mama Africa is here twice, so obviously she has better odds than everybody else. But wholeheartedly, I believe Wizkid is winning this. I believe Wizkid and Tems are winning this category. And in the global music album category, still have to do my research on these guys and these guys as well. But Mama Africa, Mother Nature, Angelique Kidjo is here. Strong heavyweights in this category. I think she has won it every time she has been nominated here. I won't lie. She has like 4 or 5 of this. I think 4. She has won 4 awards so far. But yes, Angelique Kidjo has strong heavyweights for this, and she could win it. But Femi Kuti and Made Kuti are here. Legacy Plus. There's a Made Kuti's debut, Femi Kuti, seeing father and son, you know what I mean? It just hits the soft spots, you know what I mean? You're like this is very, very wholesome, and there's some level of sentiment around it that you would love to see them win. But yet again, I think my prediction would lie with Wizkid, with Made in Lagos Deluxe Edition. I think that's where my heart is, and I think that's what's most likely to happen with the voting come January, I think 23rd or January 31st next year. That's when they will announce the winners. So yes, I say all of that, man, to say, yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. What you guys thought about Made in Lagos not getting nominated outside of the Global Music Award. Did you think it deserved album of the year conversation? Did you think Essence deserved song of the year or record of the year conversations? Leave in the comment section and let me know your predictions as well for the Global Music album and the Global Music performance. I've been your boy Mano, aka Palmer and Papi. Check out the rest of the content on this channel and on my reaction channel as well. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.